More than 30 local restaurants in Winnebago County are the first recipients of a statewide grant that provides financial relief to businesses affected by skyrocketing unemployment rates during the COVID-19 pandemic.
The first round of grants range from $298 to a little more than $80,000. The maximum award being $100,000. 25 restaurants received a little less than $10,000. 4 were awarded between $10,000 and $50,000, and 4 granted more than $50,000. John Groh with the Rockford Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, who administers the grants, says there will be future opportunities for local restaurants to apply for the funds.
One thing to keep in mind is that these dollars don't necessarily fund new things. They don't necessarily put new money in. It's really replacing the money that these restaurateurs, these owners have had to pay out above and beyond what other sectors had to.